All right, hello, and welcome everyone. My name is Francisco Cantu, and I'm happy to be here as I have been the last few Wednesdays. You can let me know in the comments if you are watching and you are a parent or if you are a student. And typically over the last few Wednesdays, I've only been going live on Facebook and YouTube. However, today I'm doing something different. I'm going live on Instagram, on Facebook, on YouTube, and on TikTok all at the same time. So if you see me looking around, it's because I have a bunch of screens in front of me and I'm trying to keep track of all the comments, trying to keep track of everyone who is joining. But today, what I'm going to do, since I've been having a lot of calls with parents, sales calls with people who are interested in joining Best College Aid, support calls with Best College Aid members, and it also coincides with the fact that we are having an offer, a sale, that ends tomorrow for our advising services, college advising services for Best College Aid. What I'm going to be doing today in the next 30 minutes, 40 minutes, however long it takes me to go through all of your questions, is basically a Q&A session where I'll be looking, again, across all the different platforms, Facebook, TikTok, YouTube, and Instagram. I'll be looking at your questions and answering them in the context of how Best College Aid can help you. Again, if you're a parent or a student, how the membership will satisfy whatever needs your family has, your particular family needs. And then I am also going to go in depth for those of you who are completely blank, who have never followed us on YouTube, watched any of our reels, seen us on social media, signed up for any of our trainings. If you are completely blank as to what Best College Aid is, I'll also be we'll be going through everything that we include, everything that we do, the story of how we got started, and hopefully you learn a thing or two about not just us, but about what we have to offer and how we can help you. And if you enjoy any of the information that I share, you can go ahead and give us a follow. That helps us grow. And at the end of the day, the more we grow, the more people that we reach, the more the more content that we can continue to create, the more of an incentive to create content that, again, helps students on the road to college and on their path towards hopefully getting scholarships. And again, if you go to our website, if you go to our Instagram page or TikTok page, you'll see that all of our content is revolving around getting students scholarships for college and making sure that they have the top tier application when they click submit, and that they're able to, again, in the game of odds and statistics that is college applications, they send an application that has the highest odds of being accepted. All right. So I'm going to get started in just a second. I'm trying to pull up the live stream on my phone because I can see Instagram and I can see YouTube and Facebook. I can track the comments, but on a far screen on the other side of the room, I have TikTok turned on and I cannot see it, because if you've watched other of our contents, you've seen that I'm blind as a bat. So I'm going to go ahead and pull that up on my phone and have it right in front of me so that I can go ahead and read all of your comments. Again, in the meantime, the more you engage and if you can help us with a comment, the more that we grow, the more content like this that we can produce. All right. So let's see. I found the account, Best College Aid. Here I am. I promise also some of the questions that I get have to do with my tie. And I mean, my white shirts. I promise I have a full-on closet with a bunch of different white tees that I wear, different ones. It's not the same one going on loop. But it's funny because every time I go into our socials, I see that I'm wearing or that I'm wearing the same white shirt, right? Okay, so as far as our Instagram, TikTok live stream, I don't seem to be able to pull it up on my phone. I'm just going to follow through and I'm going to continue checking through. Oh, just kidding. I got it. Here I am. And that way, if I see comments, I'm going to be able to see them across all the platforms. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. So the first thing that I want to do is go ahead and explain a little bit about what Best College Aid is and how we got started. So Basically, Best College Aid, we've been operational for the last 6 years. And when my siblings and I moved to the United States, we came from Monterrey, Mexico. If you know of anyone who comes from a different country, they'll probably tell you that the way that the educational system works in the United States is completely different than different countries. First of all, I guess the most glaring difference is the fact that grades are graded on a different scale. You know, GPA, SAT, ACT, all these different acronyms, then FAFSA, CSS profile. It's way less complex, right? So we didn't know anything about how the process worked and about how we could get to college with scholarships. All that we knew was that it was tens of thousands, potentially hundreds of thousands of dollars per student investment, and there were 4 of us, right? So potentially it could be all close to $1 million in college expenses if we were paying full sticker price for college, right? So my parents spotted this difference, realized that they didn't know how the system worked in this country. So we were blessed enough that they hired a very good, very prolific, very helpful private college counselor. And typically, if you've been in this world of looking for options for your student, you've seen that you typically have one of 2 options to get some sort of advising for college. You can either go the free high school counselor route, and what you will find here, especially if you look at the statistics, is that the national average is 450 students per one college counselor at a high school, right? So we've seen instances and cases in which these free high school counselors have the best disposition to help the students get to college, and they have the best intentions, and they want to spend every waking second helping them on the road to college. But the sheer volume of students doesn't allow them, and the infrastructure itself doesn't allow them to meet with every single student and their parents to tell everyone, here's how you make a college list, here's how you look for scholarships, here are the classes you should be taking, XYZ, right? So that is option number 1. And then if you want to go to the opposite side of the coin and you want to get something more personalized, something more one-on-one, like my parents did, you have a private college counselor that sits down with you and comes up with a specific plan. And typically they are very helpful. They know what they're doing. They can help you, again, come up with a custom plan that's specific to you. But the problem here is that they can be very pricey. The national average is around $8,000 for one of these private college counselors. And if you have multiple students, they might charge you per student per year. So my parents ended up paying close to $10,000, which again, complete fortune, very, very blessed that they were able to afford that. They understood the investment because at the end of the day, with those $10,000, between all my siblings and I, we ended up receiving over $500,000 in scholarships combined. So in our particular case, it ended up being a ridiculous return investment, very, very worth it. But we understood, and we understand now, and what happened years later, is that that is not an accessible amount for a lot of people, right? So on one side, you have a free counselor that can help you out if you are lucky enough to be one of the few people that they can meet on a yearly basis, because again, they're serving 449 other students every year plus their parents. So they're not as accessible as they should be, even though they're monetarily accessible because they're free. Time-wise and infrastructure-wise, they don't have the resources to do so. And then the other side of the spectrum is a private college counselor that can charge thousands upon thousands of dollars, right? So why did we say 6 years ago, 5 years ago, we decided to take all the information that we had learned, not just from our private college counselor, but from working in the admissions office. My brother worked in admissions when he was at school in New York. When I was at UNC Chapel Hill, I worked at a higher education startup that focused on institutional spending. So I did that for 2 years of college before, or simultaneously while starting the business. And we took, again, all that information plus reading up and updating ourselves and becoming counselors ourselves. And basically the information that private college counselors charge thousands of dollars for, condensed it into our online program, which is Best College Aid, which is what I'm, going live on about and about to explain what it includes. But because it's all online, what it does is it cuts a lot of the costs that a traditional private counselor has, as far as, renting a physical office space, meeting one-on-one with the student in physical presence, having, an assistant, having someone else doing the website, having someone else doing the overhead, and all those things that, again, traditional private college counselors have as expenses. We reduce that from the model, and we just focus on leveraging technology and going live on 4 platforms with a bunch of screens like I'm doing right now. And that way we can cut costs and offer this on a one-to-many platform that can make it significantly cheaper and not charge thousands of dollars for the same or even more quality information, right? So that's the story. And that's what I wanted to start off and share regarding Best College Aid before I answer any questions. Now I want to move on to talk about what the membership includes, how it works, and the discount that we're running today that ends tomorrow. For those of you who are interested, and again, the reason why I'm doing this today, if you've watched our live streams and you've watched our presentations and our content, typically what we do is we share information about scholarships, about essay writing, extracurriculars, how to improve the odds of acceptance, boost your application. But in the spirit of the sale ending tomorrow and having had a lot of different people interested in asking these questions, I figured I'd just go live and answer them all at the same time. That way, if people are interested or wondering the same things, they can get those questions answered on a one-on-one, or I guess one-to-many live opportunity, right? So the first thing that the Best College Aid membership includes, after that whole spiel about how we got started, is access to lifetime access to all present and future courses, materials, and guides. So as I mentioned earlier, everything that is Best College Aid is basically the same information that a private college counselor charges thousands of dollars for. And the way that we structured it or packaged it is, number one, we created a 4-year plan that tells you every month of every year exactly what you should be doing, not so that you are not behind, but rather so that you are ahead of the process. So as early as middle school, we start with our methodology and with our courses and everything that we teach, what classes to take, extracurriculars, how to start earning the merit that eventually you will apply to as merit-based scholarships when you're a senior. So all that is included within the guide, but it's not just what to do, rather also how to do it. And that's when we have the supplementary material that is, okay, if we're telling you how to fill out the FAFSA, which this year we update our lessons all the time to go along with policy changes and infrastructure changes, like the FAFSA went through changes this year, same with the CSS profile. So it's not just how to do it with the guide, but rather it's not just what to do with the guide, but how to do it with the courses, the digital materials, the downloadable files. So that is the blueprint, the skeleton of the program. And then once you go beyond that, because we're aware that every family situation is very, very different, and someone who is trying to get accepted into a top tier Ivy level institution is going to be, or is going to have different needs than someone who is who started on their second semester of senior year and they're just trying to keep their head above water, trying to get to any 4-year institution with a scholarship. Well, because we know that things are different depending on your aspirations, your situation, your goals, your situation, your migration, your immigration status, we supplement all those materials with unlimited online support that comes in some of the following ways. So first of all, access to our private Facebook group for members. That's when we typically respond the fastest. Although our official support policy is no more than 24 hours to get back to you and answer your questions, which again is typically significantly faster than any private college counselor that charges thousands of dollars can offer, again, because we do everything online. We also have a private community for members where typically the response rate is around an hour. And what we do here is a combination of counselors who are in the group, of parents who already went through the process, students who already went through the process. They might be in grad school, they might be currently in college, they might be students who are a year ahead, and then the students who are going through the process themselves and their parents, right? So it's close to 1,500 people in that particular exclusive group for members, and that's for the quicker questions that you have that you don't mind sharing it on a large scale. But the other contact points where we do support and where we address the questions that people have is through my personal and that of the other counselors' emails. That once you join Best College Aid, one of the first few things that you'll see is all of the counselors' emails that you have available at your disposal that you can contact directly with specific questions. And we have experts on, for example, if you're trying to be a D1 athlete being recruited by institutions, we have ex-college athletes as part of the counseling team. Again, if you want to focus on the financials, if you want to focus on SAT or ACT, if you want to focus on the essay portion of it, whatever it is, we have someone that you can get to get your questions answered. And again, the contact channels on top of the private Facebook group are personal email. We have a chat inside the platform. So if whether you're basing it off the guide or watching a lesson or on the Soon for Members I'm going to talk about a little bit more, you are going to have someone answering your questions, whether it's through email, through chat, through private Facebook group for members, right? So that's the policy that we handle, is no more than 24 hours without you hearing back from us. And that is, again, just so that you are never alone. And then the next benefit or the next component of the Best College Aid membership is access to monthly Q&A sessions. And what we do in these Q&A sessions is basically once a month, we'll sit down with our members and we'll go live for 3 hours. And our members will show up and they will tell us where they're at in the process. They will tell us their advancements, their progress, their questions. And that is for people that don't want to go back and forth on an email sequence, as they certainly can if they prefer to do it that way. For those who are interested in more of a conversation, that's why we have those monthly Q&A sessions that, again, we will answer those questions speaking to you directly, or we will also have someone monitoring the chat, another advisor, that if you just want to drop your question, get an answer, and then leave, you can certainly do that. All right. So that is the next component of the membership. All right. And again, keep asking your questions in the chat. I'll get to those in just a second. But first, I just want to expose everything or explain everything that's included inside the membership, and then ask questions, come along. Then I'll scroll back up and I'll answer all of those. Okay. So the next component of the membership is because we understand, and everything that we do is so that, as I mentioned earlier, when you present your college application, you are doing so under the admission statistics that will be more favorable to you, or under the conditions that will present you with the higher acceptance odds, right? So to do this, there are a bunch of different things that we have studied, that we know about, early action versus early decision, when to include your SAT or ACT scores, interviews, and all those things are part of the methodology. And a big component of that is, especially nowadays with optional SAT or ACT scores, something that could certainly be an optional thing that adds a boost is being prepared for the SAT and ACT. So all of our members get access to study materials for the SAT and the ACT as part of the Best College Aid membership. We send them either through Kindle, or if the new version is on a physical copy, send a physical copy. And that's just to prepare the student for these standardized tests that could potentially, again, boost your college applications, depending on where you're applying to and the common data set and what the school prefers or pays attention to. All right. Next up, included in the membership, is we have an agreement with Dell Technologies in which our members, and again, this is not something that we get a commission or anything out of it, but when COVID happened and we were operational, we identified that a lot of our students didn't have the infrastructure to have a work from home setup, or have a laptop or a monitor and whatnot. Now it's almost inconceivable for students to not have those resources, but at the time, or when it was first starting, a lot of students were struggling to adapt to that weight. So all of our members get a custom Dell shop, which is one of our partners, and they basically, similar to on Black Friday when you go to a particular store and they have a bunch of items in the catalog that are discounted, Best College Aid in perpetuity has a bunch of discounts that are, in some cases, even worth more in terms of dollar amount than the cost of joining Best College Aid. So, and you can use these as much as you want. And we have had students that just with 2 purchases of a computer that they were going to have anyways, end up, saving 3 times the amount of the cost of the membership, right? And that's just something that we include inside the program because we identified that our students needed it. And as we add on products and benefits and stuff to the membership, you're grandfathered into those benefits, right? So that was it as far as Dell Technologies. And the last component of the membership that our students get access to is in perpetuity a 30% discount from all materials from the RIA store. So again, we try to include things like the study materials for the SAT or ACT, the discounts for the Dell Technologies, but we know that there are also students who, as part of their college application, are taking AP classes. And they're doing so to boost up the competitiveness of the rigor of the courses that they took in high school so that they can be accepted to schools that prioritize that, right? Or save college credits. So what we identified was, okay, let's find an institution, a company, and we found this publishing house, RIA, the Research and Education Association, that sells crash course books. So if you've taken AP exams, you know what a crash course book is and how these are short guides that a month, 2 months, 3 months before the exam, you can use to prepare for the exam and hopefully get that passing score so you can save those credits, right? So our students, instead of paying full price, they get a 30% off if they use the discount inside the Best College Aid membership. And again, if you're taking 12 APs and you're getting a study material or a study guide for all of them, and you're getting 30% off of that, then it adds up, right? So those are all the benefits that Best College Aid includes. Again, that's more than what a lot of private college counselors that charge $8,000, $10,000 for include. And what we do is, because we do everything online, because we do the course, the guide, the the group sessions at the end of the month, instead of sending you or printing out and hand delivering the SAT and ACT study guides. We typically send them via Kindle. We get to save on a lot of the expenses that these private college counselors have while having better quality. So instead of charging thousands of dollars, what we usually do, and what you will see in the offer that I was talking about earlier, is, so typically the value that you will see if you go to our website, even though the sum of all these memberships can be up to the $10,000 that private college counselors charge, if you go to our website, you will see that we offer a membership for $997. But the sale that we are offering right now, that I wanted to answer questions about and go ahead and explain to you all in this live stream, is 50% off for $497. So if you add up the study materials alone that you get for free, if you add up the discount on the Dell Technologies for whether it's a tablet or you get a laptop, those, I've seen some that are more than $500 themselves. Students that learn how to use fee waivers for SAT, ACT, college applications in savings alone is the cost of the membership. That's without even mentioning the actual purpose of the membership, which is to get the scholarships and financial aid award packages of $80,000 per year, $20,000 per year if you stay within the state. So it's a fraction of the investment that you would make for a private college counselor, and then the returns are exponentially greater if you follow the methodology when you get to college. We've been, again, operational for 5 years. We've had thousands, literally thousands of students join our program, tens of thousands of people joining our social media presentations, because we've been blessed enough to have a large following in that regard and do these weekly presentations, bi-weekly presentations. So yeah, I wanted to just come on live here and explain and expose everything that we include, just because I know that there are a lot of questions out there, and then people want to schedule a call or people want to go ahead and email. And I figured, okay, if I want to take the chance, if I have the chance to answer these live while I'm on TikTok, on Instagram, on Facebook, and YouTube, I'll go ahead and do that before the offer expires tomorrow, right? So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go ahead and answer some questions that I've been seeing on Instagram and TikTok. So I'm going to go ahead and scroll up in both or in all those chats and see if I can answer some questions and provide some value, right? All right, so I see on Instagram that, let's see, I'm scrolling up. I see Wendy Sanchez saying that they're a parent. I see on TikTok that Antu is saying, can I get into college while living in another country? Yeah, we have students in Best College Aid who, whether it is because they currently live in a different country or because they live in the United States and they have a particular immigration status that is pending or pending or unresolved, or they don't qualify, even though they're here with a resolved status, they don't qualify under eligible non-citizenship status. They are recommended to apply as international students. And yeah, the process we've handled, we advise them and they have success. So again, even if you're applying from a different country, we have vast experience helping students in that situation. Again, with over 3,000 students, 5 years, there's not really many scenarios that we haven't seen, that me and the rest of the team haven't seen. So yeah, do have that confidence in mind that because of the scale of what we do, we get to see so many different cases that some private college counselors won't see until, again, year 5, year 10, right? Let's see. Any other questions? Mexico saying, nice, you are doing lives. Yes, we do these. So typically we're live on Mondays on all the 4 platforms, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. But we started going live on Wednesdays like a month ago, beginning of 2024. And we went ahead and just continued to do this. And I did today's topic just because the offer ends tomorrow, right? So another question that I'm seeing here is from Jenna Dean, who's watching on YouTube, saying, how can I join the membership? Excellent question. If you go to the link in my bio, if you're watching on TikTok and Instagram, you just click on the profile on the upper left corner, or where it says Best College Aid, and you go to the link. It says 50% off membership. You can go ahead and click on that, and it's automatically applied a discount. The link will go off and won't be live after tomorrow. So if you want to take advantage of it, go ahead and click it tonight. and you'll take advantage of that 50% off, $500 savings, so that you get the price of $497 instead of the $997 that we typically charge for Best College Aid, right? So that is how you get access if you're watching on TikTok and Instagram. If you're watching on YouTube and Facebook, you can go to the links, to the video's description, and you'll see the link below the video. Or if you're watching on YouTube, it should be under the Show More section under the video. And then with that, you just click on that button and you'll see the checkout page. Or if you're watching on Facebook, just go to the video's description or right under the video. Or actually, if you're seeing it on your timeline, it could be above the video. Just find that link and you'll be redirected to that 50% off page, right? Excellent question, Jenna Dean. Let's see. So that was on YouTube asking, how can I join the memberships? And again, sometimes I get overwhelmed with all the screens and all the questions. All right, so I think I'm up to date on TikTok questions, on Instagram. I think I should be good. I'm scrolling to the bottom of the chat, and thank you so much, y'all, for coping with and for joining and asking your questions and being tuned in. Again, this is something that we started doing on Wednesdays this year, and that we started doing live streams like a year ago. And hence when I was talking at the beginning of the live stream about, wearing the white shirt, again, I have a whole closet full of white shirts that I wear for the live streams. It's my self-imposed uniform. Let's see. Jonathan is asking, where and how can I apply for a good scholarships? Are there any more out there that you know of? Yeah, so what we teach our students in Best College Aid and what you'll learn in Best College Aid is that there are 4 sources. There are 4 entities that can give you a scholarship for college. And I'm using the term scholarship loosely. It could be, the financing could be earned money, like a scholarship or grant, borrowed money like a loan, but there are different types of loans, healthier and unhealthier loans. There is earned money, that is work study, for example. So regardless of the financing vehicle that you're looking at, ideally we want to do earned money first, or free money first, like scholarships and grants. There are 4 sources that can give you those financing vehicles: the federal government through the FAFSA and any other additional documentation that might be required in your particular situation, but from the federal government, the state you live in, if you're going to go to college in that state, the institution, those are the most important ones. So making a list of generous schools, that's why we really drill inside the course. Go ahead and make sure that you make a list of schools that satisfy over 70% of the demonstrated financial need, because not all schools are equally as generous. So that's how we go about that particular aspect of the process. So institutional aid comes from that. And then the last type of scholarships are private scholarships, which is what typically people think of whenever they think of scholarship, filling out the essay, sending your scores, and waiting from different rounds to see if you're selected, right? So basically my recommendation is what the methodology that we use is make yourself as eligible as possible. And I say as eligible as possible in case that maybe you have an immigration status that keeps you from applying for federal aid, but maybe you are eligible for institutional awards for a particular school that is compatible with family that has a similar financial and immigration status as yours, right? So make yourself as eligible as possible by filling out the proper documentation on time for all the different types of scholarships, whether they're from the federal government, the states, private scholarships, and the institution, right? So picking generous schools, filling out all necessary documentation, and then making sure you get very specific with the private scholarships that you apply to, even if they're not super, super great, right? So for all of these different recommendations, we go in depth inside the course. We tell our students, okay, not just do this, but here's how you fill out the forms. Here's how you look for the scholarships. Here are the sites: FastWeb, Scholly, scholarships.com. All those different things are included as guides inside the course, as well as supplemental material. If you're stuck at any part of the process filling out this documentation, we go in depth on how to fix it, right? So that was an excellent question. Let's see more questions on Instagram. I see Sydney is asking, I am a sophomore and I'm struggling with getting in contact with colleges. If I email, what exactly do I say? So when we have students, actually give me 1 second. So for our students who are members of Best College Aid and they're in sophomore year and they're in a similar situation as you, they want to go ahead and establish a relationship with the admissions officer. There is a lot of recommendations as far as what you can say to a college counselor. The first one would be make sure that there's intent and that you are being that there's a reason why you're messaging, not just say, hello, just wanted to introduce myself. I mean, you could do that, but rather do that at a fair or a guide. Rather have pointed questions that are related to what you want to study. Make sure there's a proper person, not just some random person in admissions or in the that works for the dining hall, but rather the regional officer for your particular state where you live in. If you're applying to a school out of state, that gets applicant from a bunch of different places. So just making sure that you're getting in touch with the proper person responsible for your area where you'll be applying to, because they'll be reading your application rather than just some random person in admissions. And then being intentional, again, talking about what you want to study, what you want to say. If you have genuine questions about a program, a professor, a teacher, graduation rates, all those things, that is just the surface, the basis, or the main thing that I would recommend with regards to that. And then, yeah, our Best College Aid members on top of that is not just, that is just a small supplement. You also got to make sure that when you do present that application, our students learn, okay, based on the common data set, what do these colleges care about? What do I need to present? Is it really important? Do they heavily consider SAT, ACTs, GPA? How does that stack up against my current credentials? So it's about putting the most appealing application based on their particular university preferences as possible right in front of them when you are a senior, right? But it's great that you're already working on it since sophomore year. Another thing or another question that we get asked a lot with regards to our membership is that, when's the best time to join, to acquire it? Well, because it's a lifetime membership, means that if you pay right now and your student is in middle school, you won't have to pay for anything when they're sophomore, juniors, seniors, or when they're in college and they're looking for a transfer. It's a lifetime membership that covers not just one student, but every student in your household. If you have 3 kids, by all means, go ahead and join, and you'll only pay the one payment. So the benefit of joining early is that for the one payment of $497 or the 3 options of 3 payments of $197 that you can find again in the link in my bio or in the video's description, you will get not just 1 year of advising, but you can get 2 years, 3 years, 4 years. The younger you get or the younger you join, the more time you have, number 1, to follow the methodology that starts as early as middle school, and number 2, to ask your question, to get follow-ups, to watch material, watch your renewed material, understand from the questions of older students, see their mistakes, get recommendations from the particular school that you see someone within the program has joined, or maybe is where you want to go to. So again, all those things are the benefit of joining Best College Aid earlier, right? Let's see on TikTok, still good with the chat. So I think with Instagram and YouTube and Facebook, I have answered all the questions that I've seen in all the chats. Oh wait, no, there's this one from Sarai saying, what tips do you have for creating a college list? So with our students, when they go through the program, they learn to use our database, or the database that we recommend. And the 2 main criteria are that they offer what you want to study. Don't just go where your significant other, your friends, your parents went to college, but rather where they will offer the academic course load and have a history of, employment post-graduation within the particular field that you want to study. If you don't know what you want to study, then it's always recommended to have general areas and make sure that a university offers career paths in all those general areas. That's what we teach our students. And then also, equally as important, if not more, is to make sure that the university satisfies at least 70%, if not more, of the demonstrated financial need of your household, right? And that is super important because earlier when I talked about institutional aid, that is a big component of whether you'll be able to pay for college or whether you have to take out loans, seeing how compatible the university's policies are with your family's finances, right? So those are the main things that we teach our students. Obviously, we go more in depth within our chronology and the courses and then the advising and the follow-up and all those things. But as a general rule of thumb, those are the 2 places where I would start. The academics and the financials being your main drivers, and then everything else, whether you want a big school, a big city, study abroad, all those things can be secondary parameters that inform what makes your final list, all right? So if you're interested in getting more specific help one-on-one, having access to all present and future content inside the program, the courses, the 4-year guide, unlimited digital support via email, via chat, via monthly Q&A sessions for members, via Zoom, You can the study materials for the SAT, ACT, the discounts with Dell Technologies, everything that I mentioned in the beginning portion of this live stream. You can go ahead and take advantage of the 50% discount. So again, same information, if not more value than what private college counselors, in-person private college counselors charge thousands of dollars for. We typically charge $997 instead of $10,000 that my parents paid. And then we are having a 50% off discount to sell our services for $497 if you click the link in my bio and or the video description on YouTube and Facebook, right? So you can access that right now. It will end tomorrow, so I would click on it, because if you click on it after it ends and the timer hits 0, it'll go back to $997, which is still a fraction of the price. And the ROI with students that get their tens of thousands of dollars in financial aid and scholarships still makes a lot of sense, but it could make even more sense if you could get it for half the price, right? So thank you so much, y'all, for spending this time with me, for listening to my exposition of Best College Aid. If you are interested in learning more, click the link in my bio, and I will be back here next week at 7:15 p.m. on Monday on all platforms: TikTok, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram. And I look forward to answering more of your questions, or ideally seeing you inside the Best College Aid membership. All right. Have a lovely rest of your night, everybody. Take care.